Hi boys and girls, real quick, part 3 of the Dr. Zoidberg drawing. I've got most of my colors in here. I need to work a little bit more on his jacket to even that out some, but I just want to show you guys real quick the colors that I used and talk a little bit about different brands and how colors can vary, okay? For his body, so for his head and hands, I used Crayola Red Orange, okay? And I've got a little code here. I've got a little dot by the color if it's a Crayola brand, and I've got a little dash if it's Prang, okay? So this little dash by Sky Blue, I use the Prang, it's P-R-A-N-G brand, Sky Blue. I use that for his eyes and the little fish eye there. And then the next color I used for the jacket was turquoise, and that, because it has the little dot right there, that's a Crayola color, okay, Crayola turquoise. And for the shirt, just those two little spots right there, I used this really awesome aqua green color by Crayola. It's a great color. As a matter of fact, I want to make that a little tiny bit more solid right there. It's a fantastic color, really good if you want to do like some cool color work. You know, your cool colors are your blues and greens and purples, lavender, powder blue, light blue. This light green color here from Prang is fantastic. It's a really nice kind of a lime color, and I use this on my fish right here. So I can even that out a little bit more like that, make it a little bit darker. And you know, you can do the same thing like I showed you earlier with the shades of the regular pencil. You can do the same exact thing with a colored pencil, okay? You can color super light, barely touching the paper. Then you can color a little tiny bit darker. See, you get a darker shade of green. You can color a little bit darker. Maybe go over it a couple times like that. A little bit darker. Get even more color in that square. See that? And then color super dark, as much color as you can possibly get in that square. See that? Go from super light to as much what we call saturation as you can. That you can't put any more green on that square. I've colored super hard, okay? But it's very light over here. You can barely even see that. But there is I'll draw a little square around it. You can see it a little bit better now maybe, but it goes super light, a little bit darker, a little bit darker, darker still. This one can get maybe a little bit darker like that. See that? And then as dark as you can get. So same thing with colored pencils. Don't be afraid to experiment. If you want a really light green, there you go. You want as green as you can get, hopefully about the same color that's on the outside of the pencil. That's what you do. You just increase the pressure and put more color down in that space, okay? Back to the colors for the fins. I used Crayola pink, okay, and this is a Crayola pink, but I also have a Prang, see that's Prang brand, Prang pink, and it's kind of hard to tell on camera. Maybe if I turn them that way a little bit so the light's not really reflecting off, you can see the Crayola pink is quite a bit lighter than the Prang. The Prang has a lot more red in it, and the Crayola is a brighter, lighter pink. Okay, you see that? And can't really tell by the leads there. Yeah, maybe a little bit. You can see this one's a little bit darker, and that one's more like a brighter cotton candy-ish color. But these two colors are, to me, significantly different, but they're both just called pink. See, it says pink on that one, it says pink on that one, but then after it says rosé, rosé, and rosado, rosado. See? All three languages, but still just basically claiming that's the same color, but it's not, okay? So one manufacturer's idea of a certain color might not be the same in a different manufacturer, okay? And then my last color I used for the fishy lips right here, just this little part right here, is this amazing color called bronze yellow, okay? It's really like a yellowish green kind of color. In paint, in the paint world, we would probably call this green gold, okay? And green gold, let me tell you, is my favorite acrylic paint color right now for my palette that when I do paintings. You can mix it with other colors and just completely transform that color. And I'll get into a lot more about color theory in a totally different video, and you guys can watch that if you want to. But bronze yellow in the Crayola, it's wow. It's one of those colors that can really make a huge difference if you add it to a colored work just by itself or blending it with other colors, okay? So yeah, the fish fins I did in the pink, but I also did inside the fishy mouth and inside the fishy bite right there with that same pink, okay? And that was in Crayola because there's the little dot. So, alright, there's my Zoidberg. You guys have gone over a lot of stuff with me. You've gone over values, shading, getting these different color gradations here. You learned you can do the same thing with a colored pencil, and that's any colored pencil, not just green, any color, okay? You've learned how to refine your drawing a little bit more, draw light until you get it right. What I did was I used basically the same colors that are normally in a Zoidberg drawing, but if it's your drawing, you can color this any color you want. You can make him purple with green eyes. You can make him, have gills over here on the side. What if he had big teeth coming out of here? What if he had, instead of lobster claws, what if he had octopus tentacles coming up, right? And wrapping around, curling around the fish, okay? What if he wasn't eating a fish at all? What if he was eating a pretty big, tiger shark type thing, or, anything that comes out of your imagination. You can see a drawing like this and get inspiration from it and draw something kind of similar but completely different, right? Whatever comes out of your brain, you can put on paper, all right? Keep trying, don't give up. Look at the colors that are used in the original drawing. If you don't necessarily like those, use your own. I could actually go back over this with some orange, like I've got a regular Crayola orange here. If I went over top of this with Crayola orange, look how much this changes it. You can blend colored pencils, okay? Don't be afraid. Get a test paper off to the side, a little scrap piece of paper, and if you think, wow, maybe what if I blended some orange on top of that? I wonder what that would look like. And instead of doing it on your actual drawing, just test it out. Go with a little piece of scrap paper, color some of your first color on there, come back with your second color and go, whoa, that's crazy how much difference that makes. And see, this is on camera, you can see the color kind of scratching itself off of the page, but it's really not doing that. It's just because it looks like it's scratching itself off, but it's just shiny. But see, this is what see that shiny stuff there? That's because there's a good amount of like waxy stuff inside a colored pencil, okay? But that's what's really going on. If you're not looking at the shiny part, look how much better that looks than this claw over here. See that? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of this using my orange right on top of that red orange, okay, and make the whole drawing, all of his body, his head and his lobster claw hands. I'll make all of it look like that. So see, now it's nice and dark, or it's actually a lot brighter really to me, and I'm going to do that on the top of there. And if you're working on something big, with one last tip and then I will stop talking. If you're working on something like a big kind of a project, you can keep a separate little key like this, okay? And if you've learned about maps yet in class, you know that when you have a map, you have usually have a key down at the bottom that tells you how many miles are within that inch on the map. Sometimes, you know, it'll say like 500 miles, and this is a 1 inch. So anywhere on that map that you travel that 1 inch, you've actually, in real life, if you drove that distance, you would have gone 500 miles. You'll see a little thing that shows you, you know, a little blue line or whatever that shows you, you know, this is a river, different things like that. You can do the same thing with a drawing, but like on a separate sheet of paper. You know, don't mess up your whole drawing, but on a separate sheet of paper I could put something like this. I could put Zoidberg, okay, this is my Zoidberg drawing, if this is on a separate sheet of paper, and I would have what color I want to color my body with, and then I could put, if I want to write a separate note, I could say orange on top. So now I know that any body parts for Zoidberg, I'm going to color them red orange first, but then I'm going to put orange on top because it comes out looking a lot better, okay? But if you're thinking about certain colors and maybe you tested them on a separate sheet of paper and you said, wow, that color I think will look really good for his eyes, and that was the sky blue, then you make yourself a note, yeah, I think I'm going to color that in sky blue, but I'm going to use my Prang brand colored pencil instead of the Crayola because I just like that shade better, okay? So that's all for part 3, the final drawing or final coloring stage, I guess you should say, of Dr. Zoidberg. I really appreciate you guys coloring along with me, drawing along with me, learning more about art. And I know I talk a lot, but it's art is just exciting to me. Art is basically my life. It's been my life ever since I was 3 years old. I absolutely love it. I have, you know, I've spent a lot of time in my life drawing, coloring, learning, painting, sketching, sculpting, doing everything I can, even welding and creating all kinds of sculptures and things out of resin and fiberglass and polymer clay and sewing and quilting, doing all kinds of things like that. That's all art, okay? Every bit of it is art, and I want you guys to experience all that you can too. And if you can't go out and experience it, maybe you can learn about it right here with me and hear me talk about it. And then if you really want to, then you can say, hey, I want to go out and I want to learn how to do that too. And maybe you and your parents can go take a class. They have classes sometimes at libraries and the colleges here in town, different places like that. Just go out and explore, check out what's around you, find your favorite type of art. There's lots of art out there that you have not seen or tried yet, so don't be afraid to go out and check it out and expand your mind, grow your brain. Art makes you smart, okay? You guys have an awesome day. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.